Hey there, Dementia Heroes. It's Amy Moorhead from Dementia Hero. I last time I came on, we discussed what dementia is, and I wanted to build on that a little bit here. Um, we're going to go back and just kind of review one main point here, that dementia is brain failure, not just memory loss. Take that thought from your mind. It is brain failure, so global skill loss across through multiple skills of the brain. But it affects the brain differently. It's not symmetrical. So dementia's attack on the brain is not symmetrical, left versus right. So you're going to see some skills that are retained, which is key here. And my program, we focus on what is retained, what skills are retained. So let's talk a little bit more about that. The left versus the right. So the left side of the brain, this side of the brain here, is language, heavy on language, your vocabulary, your comprehension, your speech production. This is where you lose a lot of your skill set, as well as just think of reading, writing, and arithmetic. So your math, your logic, your analytical skills, those are going to be lost. On the right, you have your artsy side, you have your rhythm. So you retain on your right. So this is kind of I follow Teepa Snow with Positive Approach to Care. So you lose on the left and you retain on the right, language on the left, rhythm on the right. So think about that, kind of a little jingle to it to get your mind set on what's retained and what's lost. Look at this here, the brain, the left versus right. So on your left, you have your formal language, your content words, your nouns, your verbs, how to produce a meaningful sentence, a meaningful conversation with content. Your speech production, your comprehension of speech that's received, your reading, your writing, your arithmetic, your logic, your analytical skills is all on the left. On your right, you have your artsy side, your imagination, the ability to produce art and enjoy art. Music, rhythm. With rhythm includes dance. So you'll see someone that might not be able to walk too well. So when they're ambulating, they're using a walker and they're barely moving. But one of their favorite songs comes on and they're able to sway and dance to that music. They retain that ability. Social chit chat and bad words. That's all retained on the right. So language that's retained on the right. We touched on this. So your automatic social chit chat, your, hey, honey, how are you? You look great. I love that color on you. Your hair looks great. And that usually follows a rhythm of social chit chat. So someone may run into your loved one that you care for, and your loved one, the one that's afflicted with dementia, might be able to carry on a social chit chat type of exchange. It's good to see you. The weather's great. The sun's shining. Love what they did with your hair. And to the other person, it seems like your loved one is perfectly fine. They're able to carry on a conversation. So they're wondering, what are you so worried about? What are they so worried about? She seems fine, because they know social chit chat. Forbidden words are retained. These are times when you're going to see these words come back out to the surface. And you'll hear, she's lost her filter. Well, it's because she's lost the left side of her temporal lobe, the language center of her brain, but she's retained the right side of the temporal lobe, which contains these forbidden words. Those are stored. We store these differently when we're kids, when we hear swear words. If you think about going up to your mom and telling her a word you learned at school and it happened to be a cuss word, and you get a rise out of her. You get a reaction, and you're told to never say that word again. So you don't store it on your left side, your normal everyday content language. That word's special. You know it's special. You want to retain it for future use, but you put it on your right side. And this is where it's stored. So when you lose on the left, all these words are retained on the right. Inappropriate sex talk. You may see some of that. That's retained on the right. Racial slurs, ugly words, the stupid and shut up. And these again are stored on the right. Something else with rhythm in speech that's stored on the right is music. They may be able to sing along with a song, and a song that really brought them joy back in their younger years, but they may not be able to carry on language that has content. Most dementia patients, even in early dementia, will lose 1 out of 4 words. So when they're producing speech, and they're trying to express themselves to you, and they need to include content words, content nouns, to give meaning to that sentence, most will miss at least 1 out of 4 words. They miss, and they don't know they're missing these content nouns. But with the music, they're able to pick up. Music is stored differently in the brain than typical language. Poetry. There's a rhythm to poetry. There's a rhythm. There's a rhyme to poetry. So reciting poetry is going to be comforting to them. Hearing poetry is going to be comforting to them. Prayer, reciting prayer. And a lot of that will be ritualistic as well. Prayers that they remember, the Our Father, Hail Mary, or hymns. You combine the two together, and you get your music and your prayer together, and you get hymns that they've sang all those years. So when you're thinking about how to interact with them, think about music. You can have music on in the background and have conversations about that song. They'll be able to go into detail about that song, and then you're going to be able to connect the right and the left brain for a short amount of time when they're listening to that music, and they'll probably be able to tell you where they were when they heard that song, what emotions they felt when they heard that song, or when they were hearing the song for the first time. And you're going to get a glimpse of the person they used to be. These are great ways to tap into their brain, to the resource of what's still retained, and get down to the person they used to be. And we go more into this in Dementia Hero Roadmap, but I wanted to hop on real quick and talk about the difference between the left and the right, and what's lost and what's retained. And we'll continue to build on this as we move along. All right.